Hello friends, it's Armstrong here from Other Miniatures, and today I have a idea. So I was just thinking about building a spaceship, obviously, because this is our day for building spaceships, but I was just like, I already went through different ideas, but what about the civilization which been spacefaring for so long and never really came back to their home planet, but they kind of forgotten how to do stuff. Yeah, and the people who are living on the spaceships are the kids of the kids of the kids of the original crew. Yeah, so like grandkids. But there was never the spaceships were never planned to be in the space for so long. Yeah, they are basically stuck, out there without proper training. Knowledge is passed generationally. So, like the ancient China, where eventually emperor basically have no one who was qualified to do the job. Yes, I'm thinking something along this line. So I want to start with this kind of shape. We have some sort of a cruiser or something. And I'm thinking the engine, obviously we can use one of the super glue caps, because they do kind of look like engines. It's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be something. Yep. Oh, and for a change, I do have super glue accelerator. Yeah. So we have our base of the ship, and I was just thinking, since they are in space for so long, I'm assuming that they're gonna be bolting up stuff into it, attaching stuff, and not all of the attachments and not everything gonna be very symmetrical, because when you are going around, scavenging, because either your civilization no longer exists, or you simply cannot get back home, you are gonna be just trying to get the ship functional and working. And maybe even, the welding skill may be going away very quickly. So I literally just pick up a pile of stuff, yeah? And I'm thinking just, attaching this all into this one shape and see how it's gonna turn out. And we'll see how this ship gonna turn out. That's the entire idea, of this, that they have no support, they are far away from home, they are trying to survive, and with generations, the population of the spaceship gonna be growing. So that's why I'm assuming they're gonna be bolting up new stuff into the ship. Yeah. So let's go with the dome. Yeah, we'll see. Like I am not sure, because I literally just grabbed random stuff. I didn't pick up, like, the only thing that I really pick up was the centerpiece. Yeah. And the rest is supposed to be just random crap being attached to it. So I'm thinking we can add one in here, as a like extra living quarters or something, maybe even two. Yeah. Just this kind of the story, is probably a bit more of a thing with this ship than anything else. Because if we have civilization who lost its way home and, have to survive in space, you would have to get a lot of extra living quarters. If your civilization is growing, you would have to get the agrophonics, or whatever, it's called, the hydroponics, not agrophonics. Hydroponics, you would need to get more of a training facilities and everything else. Yeah. So let's see where this is gonna lead us. Let's allow pieces to to tell the story. Let's allow the pieces to make the spaceship work. And as you may notice, I have new cutting mat. I only got it recently because I was in town for the first time in a long time. So I decided to get a new one. Costed me like a tenner. I could spend it on toy cars or stuff. So this already, you can see that as a kind of cohesive thing, it doesn't make sense, which is exactly the idea that I'm going for. Okay, what next? I'm thinking this side, with those two accelerators, I would say, is very barren. So let's start adding stuff to it as well. Oh, I just damaged the engine. Clumsy me. Let's just try to put it back. Like I said, it's not gonna be pretty. That engine gonna be a nightmare. Okay, we have, so this looks like some sort of a shuttle that they have. Then we have a couple of the hexagons that we can use for the solar panels. Oh my goodness, my fingers are already covered in super glue and I didn't even notice before. Let's just maybe smack a couple of them on top here. It's not straight. Yeah, that's perfect. Maybe a couple in here. So yeah, now we still have a couple of panels and we still have a couple of the smaller pieces. So I think that we can start adding some sort of a decorations or something. I don't know. Well, they definitely gonna be as a functional pieces to the spaceship, yeah. But I don't know what they're gonna be. So this look like some sort of a steering fins or something. Even though in space you don't have a drag, so that would make zero sense. But when you are trying to survive in unknown environment, I guess the technology that you find may be different than your own. So let's just see how this weirdness gonna work out. And like I said, this is an experiment. This is not a solid thing that I have in my mind. I was just sitting, last night and I was thinking, what I gonna build for today? And I was just like, like a scavenger fleet. I was thinking about Space Hulk first, yeah? If you don't know what is Space Hulk, Space Hulks are in 40k basically a pieces of junk that somehow got stuck together in the warp and then became one spaceship well, not really spaceship, like I said, piece of junk, but they fly together. It could be asteroids, it could be spaceships, it could be even some ancient nightmares, yeah, that connected to each other somehow in the warp or outside of the warp. It doesn't necessarily have to be in warp. But yeah, it just... Oh, this could be like a launching platform for this guy. This could be like a small fighter or something sitting on the back there. Let's just see if we can make it more interesting. Well, we can do this. Yeah. So it have its own solar panel. Yep. Then we have this, maybe. All right. And then we're gonna put it sideways like here. Or maybe on top. Oh, that actually looks better in my opinion. Okay, so this is gonna be the launch rails for this one. Okay, and we still have 3 of those hexagons, so quite literally I want to use up everything that I pick out. So we're gonna add one in here and the second one a bit closer. So that might be a adjustable fins for the solar panels then. Okay, and just one more. I gonna be absolutely honest, I have no idea. Maybe just squeeze it in here. Like, it doesn't actually make sense to put solar panels on different surfaces. It have more sense, to have them. Well, so yeah, I'm gonna just put it in here because then it wouldn't glue to it. On one surface, because if you are flying in space, you don't have multiple light sources. You only have one light source, and you try to you would try to put the solar panels on the best output. So you would try to rotate your spaceship towards the sun, so it can actually take the energy in. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of the accelerator to hopefully keep it together. And now, for that scratch, for that, we forgot how to weld idea. We're just gonna use this piece of string. I just remember when I was watching Idiocracy a couple of years back, how in the Idiocracy universe, they basically use a piece of rope to keep 2 buildings together, to stop them from falling. And I was just like, this is such a great idea for a stupid, nation. Yeah, like Idiocracy. Like, if you watch the movie, yeah, they basically forgot. Well, not forgot. They kind of throw themselves out the window for, with the knowledge. They started breeding mostly, very, very intelligent people. And yeah. And the entire country, I don't think it was not a country, it was the entire world, basically just went dum 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 dum. If you know the song, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so there we go. This is held by a shoestring. Well, not really shoestring, but yeah. I'm gonna just add a super glue to that, and that's gonna make it solid. It's not gonna be moving, and you can see the smoke probably on the video. I'm trying not to breathe that crap because it is just a cyanopan fumes, and yeah, nobody likes those. but adding super glue to the string makes it solid, and then it's not going to be moving on you when you are painting. So yeah, I accidentally even have a knot in that one, so yep. I think that I have most of it covered in super glue. Yep, most, not all. Yeah, but I think that that's enough. That's our weird scavenger spaceship. Yeah, uh, with a crew who forgot how to build stuff. So yeah, let's try to paint it. I think there's gonna be a lot of rust. Okay, so I just primed the model in black, and now we're gonna go with a dark metallic base. So we are using base Iron Warriors. I'm just gonna do a heavy dry brush all over the model. I'm always forgetting that wood is taking paint completely different than plastic. So yeah. So as you can see, this is working like any other Gaslands dry brush that I did before. If you watch my Gaslands videos, yeah, it's just picking up the really more of a texture of the wood than anything else. Yeah, so I'm just gonna finish this off the screen, and I'm gonna come back with the rest of the paint job. As you may know, I'm not a good painter. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna make it rusty, and to make it rusty, we're gonna use two different colors. We're gonna use the molten lava, and we're gonna use the lava orange, which are two of the Warpaint Fanatics paints. And I'm gonna try to use the sponging technique, which I suck at. I'm gonna be absolutely honest. Yeah, I am horrible at that technique. And yeah, you can see straight away why I'm saying that I suck at it, because I always press the sponge way too hard to the surface, and then we have big blobs of orange everywhere. Yeah, so yeah. So I'm just gonna demonstrate my, very unskilled use of the technique on one of the panels. Yeah, of course, the solar panels, they're gonna have to probably go and be a little bit more bluish in the future. Yeah, but for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna add it everywhere. Yes, I want this to be a rust bucket. I don't think that things actually are rusting in the space. Yeah, so my kind of suspicion would be that this spaceship must have, be kept in place for a while, where there was actually an atmosphere, because how else would it rust? Yeah, so that's one side, let's just say, rusted out. I'm gonna finish this off screen, and I'm gonna be right back because we have much more to paint. Okay, so now we're gonna be using Paratrooper Stun for the rope. Yeah, hopefully I don't gonna just mess it up, because I have this feeling that I'm gonna screw something up today. But yeah, it's just quite literally, we're gonna be just looking where the rope is and just give it a thick coating of that paint, because otherwise it's not really gonna work at all. Obviously, it doesn't have to be exact because this is a rope, yeah? There's gonna be a dirt and stuff, lodged into it. And you may be thinking, why did you make the domes metallic? Well, maybe they are built out of, something that is metallic. That's as simple as that. Yeah, I don't want to make them, being shown as transparent, since this is supposed to be like a scavenger survivor kind of situation. I think that they would be just bolting whatever they have to the ships, and they wouldn't be fancying, something that can be easy bridged. So that's my entire idea about this thing, that it isn't fancy, it is barely functional by the standards of the galactic military, or even, civilian authorities. Especially if you have a spaceship that is held together by a rope. Yeah. And sometimes you just have voices in your head and they tell you, do stupid things. And you are like, yes, I'm listening to you. Yeah. That's basically how this entire build was born. I think that I pick up most of the rope. I probably missed something somewhere. But, that's it. Oh, clumsy hands. Yep, and I have Beowulf Blue for the solar panels. And normally I would paint them white because this is a speed paint. So it kind of requires, light undercoat. But that's the thing. In this case scenario, I'm not doing that. I'm just putting this on the darker stuff. Yeah, and all of those paints underneath should give a little bit of a, how to even say it, a little bit of a difference in the panels. So they should look a little bit worn, hopefully. That's the idea anyway. Okay, we have one more on this one here in the middle. And that's another thing about this, but it's all scavenged. You can see that they actually bolted a extra deck on top of the solar panel, yeah, which wouldn't make sense because you're obscuring the solar panel. But yeah, there we go. This is done. It is one of the weirdest ships that I ever designed. But let's just see. Yeah, it is definitely a scrap build. Yeah, so there we go. Let's just toss him on the spin table. And here it is, done and dusted and on time for a change. It is a weird build because we have massive asymmetry. We have stuff stuck on top of stuff. And that rope, on top of everything is just a cherry on the top, I would say. Cherry on the top. But yeah, it is done. It is a new idea. Let me tell me what you think, guys, about this. And I will see you in the next video. Everyone have a great day and take care. Bye bye.